And bellying up to the 9-foot homemade oak bar, my name is Craig Toth, your host of Minor League News and Brews, talking about everything around the Pirates minor league system and giving you some beer reviews at the end of the show. You guys thought you were getting the Greensboro preview this week. That got thrown off by some scheduling stuff going on. So I tossed a little note out to somebody who everybody's going to recognize here, our boy Murph, who reached out to NOLA. And the crazy thing is that me and Murph were kind of thinking the same thing, is doing a Pirates prospects only draft. And we kind of laughed about it, but it's coming together here, and we're going to do this. For anybody that doesn't know, Anthony Murphy and Nola Jeffy, Mr. Jeff Reed, they write for Bucs on Deck, the Substack. Also published authors. Congratulations, boys, gentlemen. This is awesome. Everybody go out there and get your copy of Draft Nation 2024 Pittsburgh Pirates Minor League Guide. Nola, guys, like I said, mine didn't come in yet, guys. For anybody that's watching this on video, they're shaming me here, but guys, go out and get that. It's going to be, I can't wait to dig into that. I'm hoping to get it before I go down to spring training. It's going to be my reading material in the airports and in the plane for my layovers and stuff like that. Going to be referring to it. But guys, congratulations on that. For anybody that doesn't, I'll throw the tags out there. For Anthony Murphy, it's @_Murphy88. And for Nola Jeffy, he makes it very simple for us. It's @Nola Jeffy, guys. So, gentlemen, welcome to Minor League News and Brews. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Happy to finally get a chance to come back on. I know we've been talking about trying to link up for quite some time now, and so happy to be on here. It's really excited to do this. Like you mentioned, we kind of, had the same idea going, and
at the same time, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. I definitely my brain was going through different ways I should think about doing this draft.
Yeah, and we had some discussions about, should we do all individual positions? I believe we landed on a catcher, 4 infielders, 3 outfielders, and 7 pitchers, correct?
I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, if somebody wants to pick somebody who's a relief pitcher, but as we all know, people that are in the minor leagues, there's guys, they run some, decent amount of openers, sometimes injuries. Had John Moses on recently, and we had a discussion about, the FCL and how it's running, and are there going to be enough arms to end, the end of the season? So, yeah, I think it's just easier to go 7 pitchers and just kind of run it however we want to run it. But we do have to do the draft order here. I told them I was going to try to put it up on the screen. I'm not that technologically savvy. For anybody that watches the show, I'm old. I got the gray beard. These guys shaming me again with their young, full, dark beards.
I got 2 gray hairs coming in.
Oh, the picture quality is horrible on mine because I got it scattered throughout. So.
Okay, well, the picture, it's good for you then, because the quality picture is good for you because it's not showing any of them. But I got our names here on a little wheel here, so whoever's going to pick first, let's just run it here. Murph gets the first overall pick. Not liking that at all. I'm gonna remove Murph from there, so it's between. Oh man. This is my show, and I'm picking third. Nola's picking second. This is such junk. This is such trash, guys. Oh, my goodness. So at least I got a little bit of time to think here, strategize a little bit. The other thing we didn't talk about, are we going to go with a little snake, like fantasy football draft style, or are we going to go in order, kind of like if you're the first, you're in baseball, it goes back to the first again?
I think
we could do snake.
Yeah, we could do snake.
Okay, snake sounds good. So I like that. Thank you guys for giving me a little bit there, because then at least I get 2 picks in a row. So, and for everybody here, we're gonna
Really got to
go
make
through the
this pick now.
draft. Yeah, we're gonna make this, and if, like I told the guys beforehand, before we jumped on here, if there's any like insight or different stuff they want to talk about with the players that they pick, they can do that, or we can just kind of pick them and maybe just talk about everybody else's players and who we really wanted. So, Murph, with the first pick in the inaugural Pirates prospect draft special here, minor league news and brews, Bucs in the basement. Who are you going to pick, man?
All right, so I guess it's also we did mention that if they get any points in the majors weren't going to count, correct?
Oh,
And
yeah,
then,
absolutely. I forgot to mention
and then
that.
also
Yeah.
we're only doing full season players as well, just the full season teams. So with those things in mind, obviously, there's a couple people that obviously come straight to mind that you would want to take that's going to, get points and everything like that. But obviously if we kind of lose that player when they get to the majors, you kind of want someone that is going to perform, but also is going to be in the minors most of the season. And I think the best combination of all that for me is I'm going with Thomas Harrington with my first pick.
No!
So he tied for the system lead in strikeouts last year with Jared Jones. Obviously, we can probably bank on Jared Jones making it to the majors this year, so he's not going to keep putting up those numbers. The control is good. He's going into a more hitter-friendly ballpark this year in Altoona. I just think he's probably the safest plus with some upside kind of pick to go with here.
What do you think about that, Nola?
I mean, he's on kind of the same wavelength as me as well, because that's one of the first things that's going through my head too. Is I was like, obviously everybody would want Skeens, but I'm gonna need somebody that's gonna be in the minors the entire season, because then with 7 pitchers each, you might even thin out a bit, even though Pirates system's a little loaded. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go Bubba.
Oh, you guys, you see faces here. Like, everybody that's going to watch this on video is going to see my face, because those are the first 2 guys that I had in my mind. With the rules that we had in place and different stuff like that. So, I mean, and with Bubba, I mean, I don't even know if we've seen his full potential yet, and I think that's like the piece of that for me.
And plus, the same thing. I was like, he's going to Altoona, where it's the least hitter-friendly park of the 4 teams. So I'm gonna bank on this stuff and more pitcher-friendly.
Well, I'm gonna have to take what won't be the scraps, but is gonna be Anthony Solomito, for some of the same reasons. There, has had his time in Altoona, performed well, saw a tick up in his in the miles in the velo at the beginning of the season. I think that kind of maybe there again. I mean, just that arm angle, I love it. The deception, and even though MLB Scoops is out there saying that Solomito is gonna make it to the majors, maybe even before Jones or Skeens, which would be the craziest thing ever. I'm going to have to go with Solomito. And then, guys, I'm going to take the first hitter here. I'm taking Tamar Johnson. I can't look away from that before it goes back around to me. Tamar is lighting the world on fire in spring training, which is something we've seen with younger players before, not as young as him. And it's like that balance of, is he going to be a power hitter? Is he going to be a hitter? Is he going to be a mix of both? I'm looking for the walk rate to stay. I mean, his eye's great. The strikeout numbers may hurt me a little bit, but man, he just looks like not a different hitter than he did last year, but it just seems like he's developing more and more, going down and getting the ball, filling up the zone with his bat. So yeah, Tamar Johnson. So it's back to you, Nola.
Okay. I'm probably gonna get a little crazy on this one, and I'm gonna go the first outfielder and take Lonnie White. And
if he stays healthy, man, that's a great pick for you.
Well, and
Yeah.
all things considered, he should be in Greensboro, which I mean, we saw what Chang
Helps.
did in Greensboro, and then you're going to take
Yeah.
someone of Lonnie's size, skill, and tools. He should really benefit. But also, one of the other things I kept in mind too was, and it's funny, when I was with on John Toth on the other, we were talked a little bit about the outfield, and I'm like, there's not a lot of outfielders probably to choose from, so I wanted to get probably the best one right up front.
Yeah, I kind of figured he'd be your he would be. I kind of figured he wouldn't be available for me coming back around. Obviously, I was hoping for, but with my pick, I'm gonna take the guy who originally I said that if I didn't get the first pick, he was kind of the guy I was planning on taking, just because of the I don't want to say limited, but the depth on the pitching side. I felt like originally I could have waited and then just grab him because the value. And I was actually going to take him over Tamar just because of the a little more extra bases and the stolen base threat. But with my next pick, I'm going to take Jack Brannigan. On a 20, he was a home run short of a 2020 season. He has the speed, so he's someone who's going to steal some bases, a little bit of power there. Yeah. So, and I think like once you get to a certain point with the infield, you kind of see a little bit of a drop off. So I really wanted to kind of grab him while he was available. And then as far as my next pick gets a little bit tougher, I'm going to say, but I'm going to go with Garrett Forrester because I've had people talking into my ear all off season about him going to be the breakout guy in the system. And if he's starting in Greensboro, I can definitely foresee a lot of offense there. So I'm going to grab me a couple infielders.
Is people talking in your ear? Is people talking in your ear, Corey?
Yes. Yes, Corey, yeah. He has definitely been chatting up Forrester all off season to us. So I'm gonna throw that out there too. So if it doesn't work out for me, we all know who to blame at that point. So.
Yeah. All right. So back to me.
Absolutely,
I guess it's time to finally do it. I'm Paul Skeens.
Okay.
I mean, what much else to say other than I hope I think he's gonna do very well. He's probably gonna give me a lot of strikeouts. We'll just have to see what the future plans are for him. If he goes up in June, then I'll be scrambling. But hopefully I'll get enough of a lead in the standings and points that it won't hurt that much.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll see who graduates from maybe the FCL and gets pulled into Bradenton into their rotation, stuff like that. I mean, so and that's where kind of like my thinking is going right now is this is a guy who is being mentioned as possibly a riser into the top 100 prospects at some point in time during this season, and that's going to be Michael Kennedy. Left-handed pitcher, going to be in the. I know that Bradenton is a little bit friendlier than Greensboro, so he should do pretty well there. It's usually the Florida State League is usually a pretty pitcher friendly, and a lot of stuff with him is people are wondering if he's going to be able to add velo. Well, he's only 19 years old, but he's also a left-hander. Left-handers don't always add velo as much as, some do. But I just kind of see him as somebody that is going to take a step forward this year. And he's a guy that, I definitely like, but once people started saying, possible top 100 prospect, I couldn't let him pass me by. And then with the next pick, I know you guys, I'm gonna take another pitcher. I'm taking Owen Kellington. So you guys are gonna start getting frustrated with me. I'm like the guy who drafts like 4 quarterbacks in a fantasy, football draft or something. But I wanted to make sure once we were saying like, the pitchers, I wanted to get those kind of out of the way, and then I can settle into the position players.
That works.
That's right. Take feed on the strength of the system, and then plug as you need on there. And Kellington was definitely a guy I think I was looking at coming back around on there. So
yeah. Ooh, no, I don't know. This next one might be kind of tough for me. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna go infielder, and I'm gonna go McAdoo. I'm really stoked to see what a full season of McAdoo looks like, and again, he's another player that's probably has a high chance he begins in Greensboro, and Greensboro offense, baby.
Yep. Okay. Well, no, yeah, I like that one. That kind of throws off again some more of my stuff. I'm gonna go with an outfielder here, though. I had mentioned that, yeah, because he played the majority in the outfield last year. I take Joe Perez on there. And I really thought he was, when he got the invite to camp, he was someone that, like, I saw him a lot last year and all that. And there's hit for power immediately as soon as he entered the system, and thought he was like one of those sleeper guys when we got the non-roster invites and all that. I mean, obviously we haven't seen too many of the games. I've noticed if he's done too much this spring, but I still think he's going to hit for some power back in Indy and stuff like that, and be a big part of their lineup. So,
so you're going with him as an outfielder?
Yeah, I'm going with him as an outfielder. I had McAdoo listed as an outfielder too on here to try to be sneaky.
Okay,
because he played this couple games.
Yeah, that is. I guess I wonder how that works. Can we like flip guys?
That's it. We talked about this. It's like the tough part about the minor leagues is and especially in the other part is like a Ben Cherington. He loves versatility, and so he will play guys like infield, outfield, and then infielders. If they can't play the outfield, they'll play almost every position except for first base. So it does make it a little bit tougher.
And with my next pick, I think I'm going to circle back to some pitchers, and I'm going to take Braxton Ashcraft. Like, I know that's like my whole original strategy was to kind of try to stay away from guys on the 40-man just because of the risk of them having to come up and stuff like that. But I think at this point now, like Nola did with Skeens, I'll take the points while you can get them. I think wherever they put them, whether they send them back to Double-A to keep stretching them out, or if they just go and throw them in Indy, I think he's going to be he's going to work out great for me while I'm able to use them. I mean, they do have some other options that they may want to look at in the rotation before he gets a shot. So maybe he's there a little bit longer, and then it just works out even better for me. So I'm going to go with Braxton Ashcraft. I also do think that Jared Jones gets up before him anyways, just because he has more of a record pitch or
so
in the rotation.
I'm about to start thinking up my trade proposal. Let's see. Okay, so for my next one, I'm gonna go for hits and bags in this one, and Mitch Jebb infield. I presume he'll probably begin getting some outfield time, but knowing the way they are, also, especially with these kids, a lot of the like second base types, they'll say we believe he can stick at shortstop because they said that about him. So I wouldn't be surprised especially if he begins in Greensboro, that he gets quite a bit of shortstop time with outfield time sprinkled in. But that 80 grade speed, I'm expecting a lot of stolen bases.
And talking about funky, that swing, like, I don't know how it works, but it works. And so I would be like, do not mess with that whatsoever. And here's it. Noah, did you get who got McAdoo? You got McAdoo as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You are taking the bags up, man. Cause those guys are just, when they came onto the scene, like they were a hit machine down in Bradenton. So, I mean, I can't really knock you for that. And I think I had to changed my draft strategy a little bit because I'm like, I was going like power, different stuff like that. So for my next pick, I got to go Trace Gonzalez. I know that, Trace, he did well in Greensboro, came up to Altoona. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, but he's a guy that just kind of like, he just hits, gets on base, and he has the speed. So Trace is a guy that I've really liked throughout this system. And then I gotta grab, the thing with the Pirates is the catchers now. Like, I don't see the Pirates like before. If we would have done this last year, it would have been like an overabundance of catchers. But I'm going to go Omar Alphonse, who I'm going to go. And basic, I got you guys either. I'm guessing you guys didn't like that pick because you wanted him, but
no, I love that pick. That's my guy. That's my guy. I legitimately debated taking him with that last pick there, but I wanted to get another pitcher on board. And but my thought process was the same as you, that like the catchers seem so thin here that I thought I figured I'd maybe sneak one in sooner. But no, I love that pick. I like Alfonso is one of my favorite guys in the system, and so
that's what
there's a lot of potential there.
I like those two picks in a row because I know Trace Gonzalez for us is a bit of a sleeper in the system. We think, just a guy that we haven't gotten a lot of batted ball data, especially last year being in Greensboro, but he's someone that, he ever since he got in the system when we had Bradenton numbers, like he hit the ball a lot harder than we originally anticipated. And Murph, you'd probably remember better because his swing and strike rate was something like 6.5% or something. Like it was really low.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't until he was leading the system until Mitch Jebb got
it's not Mitch Jebb low, but it's low.
No, but you're not. So where you took were you worried about the strikeouts with Tamar? I think you kind of make up for that with taking a Tress there because he's not gonna strike out much if at all.
So. Yeah, and once again, I heard John Moses talking him up, and it probably was in the back of my head, but just watching him, and not even really watching him in Greensboro, but following him in Greensboro because there's not a lot of Greensboro games to watch. I mean, there were more, but so just a good. I just think he's just a good ball player. Get on base, good batting average, get some hits. So I definitely had to get some bases on there, get some points.
And since now that we let me think about my next pick a little bit more, but I think I'm gonna go Shailen Polanco. I'm gonna hope for a full healthy season out of him and a bit of a breakout year from him, which it's not Greensboro offense, but Bradenton's actually a lot more of a hitter-friendly park than people think it is. So I'm going to stack my outfield.
Just getting all the outfield people.
Mm-hmm.
All the Greensboro people, I guess I should say. So, and then one thing more about Gonzalez too is when I went to those when I went to Greensboro last year, he made a lot of very solid contact. Obviously there's no exit velocity readings down there, but he's I do think there's a lot more power in his bat than maybe the numbers say. That maybe if he wanted to get to some more of it, there could be some more there. So, but he was one of the guys that stood out there in Greensboro when I was down there last year. So yeah, I definitely like that pick. But going back to me, I'm gonna take another pitcher, and I'm gonna take Hunter Barco, who he's coming off of Tommy John last year, so eased back in. Obviously, we'll see him, expand it, and I just think even with the coming back, he's adjusting again to coming back from Tommy John. He still looked really good, still struck out a lot of batters, and I imagine he's going to maybe he starts in Greensboro, maybe they keep him in. But either way, he's going to be in the lower levels to where I think he he's going to overmatch a lot of the hitters down there, and he's not going to walk hitters, and he'll get a bunch of strikeouts. And then for my next pick, I'm going to go with Josiah Sider as my third infielder on there. So he's he kind of tore through Bradenton, kind of tore through the complex league, hit a wall a little bit once he got to Greensboro. But the power is legit. The power is really good. I think if he starts again in Greensboro, he'll be more ready to take advantage of the hitter friendly park there. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see. Oh man.
Making Nola think here. He's
get into the nitty-gritty here.
I just pulled up some more lists and stuff just to think it through and all that. I was for a second thinking Priester, but I think he's going to fall into that issue of he might start the year, which I do think there's a high probability he begins the year in the majors. So there's that. And then up, down, up, down. So the one I'm debating on is Shim. I don't know if Shim is going to begin in Bradenton or if he's going to begin into the short season.
That's a question.
What says y'all?
If he pitched more than he did last year, I think it's obviously like a slam dunk that he's in Bradenton. But like 8 innings, like I can see either scenario on it. That's the only reason why I didn't take him with like one of my picks there is just because I wasn't sure.
You know, I've heard them talk very highly of him, and even recently about how much they love his stuff. So I'm gonna take the leap, and I'm gonna pick Shim.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is, I mean it's he was taking the track of, like you said, if he would have just pitched just a little bit more and then stuck around, he probably would have been in Bradenton last year, and then would be in Bradenton's rotation this year. But yeah, just unfortunate there. And like you said, everybody's talking up his stuff is supposed to be absolutely like disgusting. And the fastball plays well, but yeah, that's one where I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about him, but I don't want to take another pitcher from you guys. I got to get another infielder here. I'm going to go with Yordani De Los Santos.
I was just thinking him.
And that's who I was worried that you were trying to decide between. As we saw, I mean, De Los Santos obviously in the FCL just tore things up so quickly that he was up in Bradenton, fell back a little bit. Extremely young, extremely athletic, a lot of power, a lot of speed, a lot of hit to contact as well. Like I'm really excited about him this year, and getting a full year of him in Bradenton is definitely going to be very nice. And then with the second pick, I had it already pulled up and I completely lost him. The beauty of podcasting here. I was going to go with Rodolfo Nolasco in the outfield. Has shown power, just hasn't shown consistency in Bradenton. Looking like he may be in Greensboro this year. And even though, here's the thing that's it's frustrating to me is that even in this prospect draft here thing here, it's not saying that I know that Nolasco is going to hit, but just getting him, and I got to get myself some points here. I believe he's going to hit a ton of home runs. He's just kind of struggled with consistency, struggled with health at times, but it was, a top 30 prospect at one point in time, and it's kind of just fallen off a little bit. So hopefully he can get that back together. I was looking at his age. He's still only 22 years old. That's the crazy part, because it feels like he's been around for 10 years at this point in time. But a guy that I'm looking for a bounce back season. Get him started hot in Greensboro for me.
Oh man, back to me again.
It is.
That's actually, I think I'm gonna go for Bags again. I'm gonna go for Bags again and get Chang, Sung Che Chang. I'm gonna probably lead the league in stolen bases by double.
Nah, that's a good thing. I was wondering if, because I already have 3 infielders, but I was thinking as it was coming back around, I saw him there, and I'm like I only have 1 outfielder right now. He's still available,
and I think
I feel like I just need to grab him.
Yeah, and I feel like he's been kind of overshadowed this spring, just with Tamar Johnson having the spring he's having. But on the other side of the second base bag, the other 5'7" infielder. I mean, he's having a pretty good spring, and he hit that one shot to dead center there.
Yeah, he's had a couple batted balls over 100 miles an hour this spring, which He played in Greensboro and Altoona last year, so we're not going to have the exact things, but I can imagine there weren't that many like that. So for him to be hitting a couple like that already seems very encouraging. I'm going to go with one of my next picks. I'm going to go with Chase Bone, another 2020 kind of guy. And I struggled a little bit whenever he got up to Altoona, but that was also the same case when he came up to Greensboro a couple years ago, and then last year we saw what he really did. So, he takes the time to kind of learn the surroundings and get comfortable and stuff like that. But when he gets going, he was one of the 2020 guys this year. I believe he was. So that takes care of my second outfielder. And I think I'm going to go a little off the wall here, but it's someone, again, that I'm kind of buying that he's going to be pitching in the lower levels, and maybe he's a little advanced for that, so I can kind of get some bonus points with it. And it's someone that I know this offseason Nola has really started to buy in with me and stuff like that. I'm going to take Jaden Woods with my next pick. I think they're going to try to stretch him out as a starter, and he'll get the Thomas Harrington treatment, how some of the other guys. He'll start in Bradenton to work there, and he'll be able to take advantage of the single A hitters coming from the SEC and stuff like that. So, and then even if they shift him to the bullpen and stuff like that, he showed great enough control and some swing and miss stuff to where I still think he'd be very valuable out of the bullpen for me. So that's going to be my second pick.
Good.
And I was a really big Jaden Woods guy going into the draft too. I saw a couple of his games at Georgia. So.
Oh man. I was thinking of pulling the trigger on him as well. He was another one of the ones that I was thinking. So I think I'm going to take another pitcher from last draft, and Carlson Reed, my cousin.
We need to put a disclaimer that, in fact, he is not his cousin.
We are, in fact, not related, but I know a big right-hander reaches the upper 90s. I know he's shown up on a couple of national prospect lists for the Pirates, so we didn't really get to see too much of him last season, but big kid, big stuff, so big hopes. A lot of Ks because he'll be in those lower levels too.